Hi, I'm Gabby Whithouse. I'm going to show you how I use Linoit.com to create a storyboard. So when you go into Linoit, you'll see this screen, and if you click on Give It a Shot, this is what you'll see. So you can browse around this, you can click on play to see the video there. You can move the storyboard by dragging on anywhere on the background to see everything on it. And if you want to, you can even add some sticky notes. So let's see what happens when I go post. Now I can move that by dragging it, and I can expand it as well if I want to. So there are many things you can do on this trial page, including make sticky notes disappear. I'm going to move now to my own signed-in account for Linoit because I can do a few more things when I'm signed in, and I can also save the storyboard I'm going to create. So the first thing I do is click Create a New Canvas, and I'm going to call it Storyboard because I'm creating a storyboard for a course on storyboarding. For now it's for my own private use. I can change that afterwards if I want to, and I'll go create a canvas. Now we have a beautiful blank canvas, and I'm going to start by adding labels down the left hand side. So the first one is going to be time frame, and I will put that in the top left hand corner. Underneath that I will have learning outcomes. These will be standard in any storyboard you create, no matter what the subject matter. The third one is going to be assessment or demonstration of learning. And then we're going to have learning activities. Okay, and finally we need one more colour, so I will just select pink there for learning resources. So these 5 rows are pretty standard in the storyboard. You might want, instead of time frame, to order it according to topics or units or something, which is absolutely fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is fill in this top row, which will contain all the information for the time frame. So I need a yellow sticky again, and we'll have week 1. I'm organising this course according to a 6-week time frame. So I stick that up there. I'll fast forward now. Right, so I've got my 6 weeks listed across the top there, and what you need to know on Linoit is that everything gets saved as you change it. So I could log out now and this storyboard would be saved exactly as is. Also, if you're working on it with a team and everybody is coming in using different devices, that can be really fun because you will actually see sticky notes being generated and being moved around the storyboard while you're working on it in real time. It's a really good tool for a team. So now we're going down to the second row, which is learning outcomes, and I'm going to write the learning outcomes in green for week 1. And the main learning outcome there is going to be create audience profile and course description. Okay, so I'll put that in week 1 and I'll fast forward. Right, so now we have the learning outcomes for each week in this 6-week course. And just so you don't get confused, because it is a storyboard about a storyboarding course, a reminder that down the left-hand side are the standard labels that will apply no matter what the course is, and these learning outcomes are specific to the course on storyboarding. You'll see some resonance actually between the two of those, where, for example, defining your learning outcomes and developing your assessment appear as the learning outcomes themselves for week 3 of the storyboarding open online course, or OOC, and then the next row down is developing the learning activities, which will be done in week 4. The last row of the storyboard is the learning resources, and in week 5 we'll carry a learning resources audit, which means by the end of those weeks we'll have each one of these rows completed, and in week 6 the task will be to fill in any final gaps in the storyboard. So let's go on now to the next row, and that is assessment or demonstration of learning. I've included the term demonstration there because not all courses have formal assessment, as we know it in terms of institutional exams and so on. So in this particular course, the assessment or the demonstration of people's learning will happen right at the end when they will publish their storyboard for others to comment on. So that's a very public demonstration of learning for those participants that choose to do it. It's optional, but I think there will be some people who want to do that. Let's move on to the learning activities. So for week 1, following on from Salmon's 5-stage model, we know that the first thing we need to do is some form of orientation to the platform, whatever platform people are learning on, if it's online. Secondly, we need to do some socializing, getting to know one another. And thirdly, we can move on now to describing our courses and audience profiles. So these are, I've put them in the learning activities row, but actually I'm going to edit that little sticky note, because what we've got at this stage is just the purpose of the activities. We'll come back once we've got the whole overview of the storyboard. We'll come back and actually design those activities. So I'll fast forward again now. Right, so now we have the learning activities, the purpose of the learning activities we're going to create for each week, written underneath each week. So we should begin to see some sense of alignment between the learning outcome for each week, any assessment or demonstration that will take place in that week or unit, and the purpose of the activities that learners are going to do, as well as what we're going to do next is the learning resources that should support these activities. So let's move on to the learning resources, and we need a pink sticky note now, so I'll just change the colour of that. And the learning resources for week 1 will include something on some discussion, information on learning design, perhaps versus the concept of instructional design, some info about the 5-stage model devised by Julie Salmon, and probably some info about Anderson's interaction equivalency theorem, which we will build into those activities when we come to designing them. So that goes in as the learning resources for week 1. I can move the storyboard, I can move the board up like that so you can see it all. I'll fast forward while I complete the learning resources. Right, so there across the bottom we've got all the resources that I can think of at the moment. There will be more to come, but for now that's got me started on the storyboard. And you can now see the whole storyboard at a glance. It's as simple as that, really. You can add more, you can move things around. If you decide you want to resequence things, you can do that. And I'll leave them in the order that I put them, but you get the idea there. You can also add attachments, you can also add video links or images on Linoit when you're actually signed in. So I hope that's been a useful introduction to storyboarding on Linoit. Thank you very much for watching.